Today I'm going to be learning more about Polish history and a momentous occasion in Polish history, the Battle of Grunwald 1410, the Northern Crusades, and this is a documentary. So I've seen people mention this in the comments before when I've been looking at Polish history. I've also seen a clip of this from a movie, a Polish movie that showed a little bit of the Battle of Grunwald, but obviously that's a movie version of it. I want to really know what happened, how important it is to Poland and the region around Poland as well. Tell me what you know about the Battle of Grunwald. How is it remembered in Poland? What do people know about? What are people taught about it in school in Poland? Let's watch.
On July 15th, 1410, armies of the Polish-Lithuanian Alliance and the Teutonic Order, alongside the dozen nations supporting them, clashed on a field near Grunwald. This battle shaped the fate of Northern and Eastern Europe and the people of these regions for the next few centuries. Welcome to the Great War of 1409 to 1411 between the Teutonic Order and the Polish-Lithuanian Alliance.
Yeah, tell me more about that Poland-Lithuanian alliance. I've seen the changing border of Poland over the last 1,000 years, and when Poland and Lithuania had that alliance, it really covered and captured so much land. It was really, really powerful. And yeah, obviously when it said it had importance for the next couple of centuries, shows you how monumental this battle was.
In 1025, Poland became a kingdom under Bolesław I, the Brave, of the Piast dynasty. Bolesław was baptized, and his realm was recognized by the Pope and the Holy Roman Empire. Slowly the Poles adopted Christianity. Baltic tribes living to the northeast of Poland were the last pagans of Europe, and that was creating tensions along the borders. That made the Baltics a perfect target for the next crusade. Pope Innocent III was eager to increase his influence, and in 1204 he sanctioned the foundation of the Livonian Brothers of the Sword Order in Riga, modern-day Latvia. The order was comprised of warrior monks of German origin, and its goal was to conquer and baptize pagans of the Baltics. But that wasn't enough, and in 1226 the Polish Duke of Masovia, Konrad, invited the Teutonic Order to protect his northeastern borders against the pagans. The Teutonic Order was founded in Jerusalem as a hospice brotherhood in 1143 to accommodate the German-speaking crusaders and pilgrims. In 1198 it was transformed into a military order in Acre and was based on the model of the Knights Templar. However, crusades into the Levant were on the decline, and when Konrad asked for the order's assistance, they answered his call and got Kelmino land as a fief. The Holy Roman Emperor decreed that Prussia was to be conquered by the order. This decree did not name any other Baltic lands. However, both the Teutonic and Livonian orders considered conquering these lands and baptizing its population a sacred duty. So while the former operated in Prussia, the latter fought wars against the burgeoning Grand Duchy of Lithuania. In 1236, Lithuanian dukes decisively defeated the Livonian Order in the Battle of Sola. The order was so decimated it had to join the Teutonic Order and become its vassal. They continued incursions into Prussia, and by the year 1274 the conquest was finalized. However, their way into the Baltics was blocked off by the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Most of Lithuania adopted Christianity by the end of the 14th century, and that gradual Christianization made the Order's mission problematic, as their initial goal was fulfilled. The Teutons were now just conquerors. This strained relationships between the Order and the Polish kingdom and resulted in two wars. The War of 1308 to 1306 ended with the Teutonic takeover of the city of Danzig. Poland also lost the second conflict in 1326 to 1332, which ended with a treaty that forced the Polish kings to renounce their claims on Pomerania and Kelmino land, which meant that Poland did not have access to the Baltic Sea anymore. In 1384, 11-year-old Jadwiga of the Piast dynasty was crowned as a female king. The Polish aristocracy were eager to strengthen the country through an alliance with the Great Duchy of Lithuania, and they achieved that in 1385 through the Union of Craiveau, when Grand Duke of Lithuania, Jogaila, married Jadwiga. Jogaila adopted Christianity and became the founder of the Jagiellonian dynasty that ruled Poland for the next 2 centuries.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never knew that was how these nations or entities actually joined together, so that's very interesting. A female king? I've never heard of that. What is the root, or what was that all about?
Jogaila's brother, Skirgaila, was designated as a regent of the Grand Duchy, but he was unpopular with the people, and Jogaila's cousin, Vytautas, used this opportunity to become the Grand Duke, which resulted in the Lithuanian Civil War of 1389 to 1392. Vytautas entered an alliance with the Teutons and ceded the region of Samogita to the Order in 1390. In 1392, Jogaila finally agreed to name Vytautas the regent of the Grand Duchy. Control of Samogita meant that the Order had a land corridor between its holdings in Prussia and Livonia. Additionally, the Samogitians were the last pagans in Europe, and baptizing them presented a chance to improve the prestige of the Order. Vytautas gave the region to the Order in 1390, but the locals were not eager to adopt Christianity, and they rebelled in 1409. The Grand Duchy supported this rebellion politically right away. When the Order threatened to retaliate against Lithuania, Poland was forced to issue an ultimatum stating that they will defend their allies. That was a precarious situation. The allies had more troops, but both Jogaila and Vytautas knew that if they started an offensive war, the Order might receive support from the Holy Roman Empire and Hungary. They needed the Teutons to make the first move, and that is what happened on August 6, 1409, as the Grand Master Ulrich von Jungingen declared war. The plan was to beat Poland quickly and then crush Lithuania, so the knights moved into Greater Poland and Kuyavia. Their troops burned the castle of Dobrin and captured Bobrovniki and Bydgoszcz. The Poles were able to retaliate and take the latter back, while the Samogitians attacked Memel. At that point, the King of Bohemia Wenceslaus asked the belligerents to negotiate, and they obliged. A truce was signed in October and was set to expire on the 24th of June 1410. The Order and the Allies used that opportunity to prepare their forces and to conduct diplomacy. The Order bribed Wenceslaus, who was a mediator in this negotiation, to declare Samogitia the Order's land. They also paid King Sigismund of Hungary to attack Poland. During the truce, Vytautas was able to obtain guarantees of neutrality from the Livonian Order. In December of 1409, Jogaila and Vytautas reconvened in Brest to discuss their plans and agreed that they would gather all their troops in northern Poland and would move against the capital of the Order, Marienburg, as soon as the truce ended. Von Jungingen had concentrated his forces in Svets, and the Allies knew about that, so to distract the knights, they organized raids along the borders with Prussia. Polish-Lithuanian forces crossed the border on the 9th of July 1410, but their attempt to maintain secrecy failed. The Grand Master moved his forces to intercept the attack along the Drevets River. The two armies saw each other on opposing sides of the river on the 10th of July, but Jogaila decided that it wasn't a good idea to move across the river in full view of the Order's forces. The Allies started moving to the east to be able to attack Marienburg without crossing any rivers. Von Jungingen's forces mirrored their movement, crossing the Drevets River and moving to the east parallel to the Polish-Lithuanian troops.
I mean, like, when you see warfare today, like how it's all like drones and things like that, and it's like very, I mean, you can say impersonal. You don't have to be face to face with who you're fighting for a lot of the cases. When you see this, they're literally walking almost side by side in the river. Like, what? It's like, what must that have been like? It must be so. It's like so insane to think about it now. But yeah, I guess we're going to see what happens. But this is actually very, very interesting. I knew nothing about this situation, but when you see everything that led up to this point, the treaty, then just waiting for that time for the treaty to end, it's fascinating, honestly.
The two armies met on the 15th of July between the villages of Grunwald and Tannenberg. Modern historians agree that the Allied forces outnumbered the Teutonic Order at least 4-3. The commonly accepted number is 39,000 troops for the Polish-Lithuanian army and 27,000 for the Teutons. While the Order's army consisted of warriors of Germanic origin, the Allied forces were international. Russian vassals from Smolensk and other princedoms, along with the Ruthenians, Moldovans and Czechs, led by the future commander of the Hussite forces, Jan Žižka, were part of the Lithuanian army. They were also joined by at least 3,000 Tartars of the Golden Horde. Heavy cavalry accounted for more than half of the Order's army, and although they were outnumbered by the Allied forces, they had a clear advantage in training, equipment and discipline. The Order also had at least 5,000 infantry and a few artillery bombards. The Poles mirrored the Teutons, with their focus on heavy cavalry with added infantry and artillery, while the Lithuanian army had lighter equipment and its cavalry, especially the Tartar horsemen, were lightly armed. Von Jungingen planned to attack the Allies on the slope of the valley, where his troops would be able to diminish the advantage of the enemy's numerical superiority. However, Jogaila anticipated that plan and decided to stay within the limits of the forest. Sources claim that von Jungingen was angered and sent emissaries with 2 swords to the king to shame and mock him for the delay. The battle started at noon, and it was mainly a cavalry affair. The battle began with the Lithuanian forces attacking from their right flank. Tartar light cavalry was able to overpower the infantry and missile units of the Order. However, when the Order's heavy cavalry on the left wing counterattacked, most of the Lithuanian forces retreated hastily. To this day, debates are ongoing as to whether this retreat was planned or not. Some historians claim that the Lithuanian troops were not able to withstand the charge of the Order's knights and ran away. Others think that this retreat was tactical, and Vytautas was using the old nomad tactic of a feigned retreat.
Yeah, tell me what you think about that. What theory do you think? Do you think they ran away, or do you think it was planned?
In any case, most of the Allied right flank retreated, with only troops from Smolensk joining the Polish forces. Jogaila's army had a better time, as it was able to stop the advance of the right flank of the Order and made it retreat to the west. When the left side of the Order's army stopped chasing Lithuanian forces and returned, they found the right flank of their army in retreat and half encircled. Sources portray the heroism of the Smolensk banners, who despite heavy losses, fought off most of the left wing of the Teutonic forces until the Lithuanian army returned to the battlefield and charged the Teutons from behind. The Grand Master tried to change the fate of the battle by retreating to lure Allied forces in, and then go for a double envelopment, but Jogaila was able to undermine this maneuver by placing blockading troops to prevent outflanking. On the contrary, his flanks were able to use their numerical advantage and surrounded most of the Order's remaining units. The Grand Master and most of the Order's commanders died fighting in this encirclement. The Order lost more than 20,000 troops in this battle, with most of its elite dead. The Polish-Lithuanian army moved towards the Order's capital, Marienburg, and reached it by the 22nd of July. But the city was defended by the remainder of the Teutonic forces. The siege continued for weeks, but the Livonian Order threatened to attack the Allies, so they decided to retreat. Possibility that Hungary might attack was increasing, and the Allies decided to start negotiations. A treaty was signed in the February of 1411 in Thorn. Thank you for watching our documentary on the Battle of Grunwald.
Yeah, that was a great video. I'll leave the link to the description there, so go follow, go subscribe to that channel. Really well done. I mean, it's like very cool to see the strategy there, like out, the visualization of that strategy. It's really cool to see. You see that Polish-Lithuanian, the might, the intelligence, things we still see in the Polish military today, like the strength and the intelligence, so important. And you see 600 years ago, whatever that is, still having that, man. Like, so it's like Poland, and I mean, not even just that. When I talked about watching that video of the border of Poland, how much it changed over 1,000 years, Poland's just always been in wars and battles and things like that, had so much upheaval. Like, I do feel like very bad for Poland when I see things like that, like not really had that long-term peace to like really prosper. But seeing this individual battle is very eye-opening. I really never knew anything about it, but it's so important for the complexion of Europe today. Like, things could have been so different in Europe if the Teutons had won, but Poland and Lithuania, I wish more people knew about things like this. Like, this is not just important for Poland and Lithuania, this is important for the whole of Europe and every European. So tell me what you think about this one, and go subscribe to that channel. Thanks.